Hello and welcome to the Listening Post's unboxing channel on YouTube. Today it's with great pride that I'm unboxing one of Elac's brand new reference series subwoofers, their RS700. Now, like the performance range, the PS series, the model number implies the wattage. This one, being the RS700, is 700 watts a channel, except at any point in time it will easily deliver double that. So realistically it's got a 1400 watt, 1400 watt bash amplifier on board. It's stunning, absolutely stunning. It's got one of the new drive units, and you'll see a really unusual implementation of an annulus and other things like that inside. It features Elac's brand new control app, enabling all of the setup to be done from the convenience of your sitting position, not having to leap up and down. The drive unit has, it's a hex drive unit, but that's sort of advertising puffery for the fact it's a High Excursion drive unit. But as you would expect with anything at this premium end of the market, it's delivering everything and more. So let's have a look. Firstly, the packaging. Most of Elac's products are in this style of pretty boring box. It's brown, bit of printed information. What we've got is a line drawing associated with it and an implication of its performance from an output perspective. At 111 dB, this thing can go loud. If you need it to, it will rattle your neighbour's place, not just yours. We've got Elac, we've got the model RS700 SB, satin black, I think, and of course information associated with it. Now, it's part of the Varro series, so that's kind of their new iteration of subwoofers. Again, a line drawing and an implication about the setup app. On one end we've got information again about the model number and scannable information associated with the serial number and model number. And then it's all just kind of emulated. Okay? Now, getting into these is pretty straightforward. It's a simple enough process to cut open the packing tape. It's just clear packing tape. Okay, and the first thing we see is a big chunk of polystyrene. I mean, this is a monster, by the way. Don't know what it weighs, but it feels like it could be 25 kilos or something silly. Nevertheless, what we've got is a basic slip of cardboard, giving a nice little place for the accessories. It talks immediately about downloading the app to get the best as far as its performance. Then we've got inside the manual, by the way, in this little plastic bag are the massive spikes associated with anchoring this through the carpet onto a hard floor. It features also some really good rubber feet, so if it's sitting on a tiled or hardwood floor, it's pretty straightforward. The quick start guide, along with some very specific information about both the RS500 and 700. There's a traditional New Zealand IEC power cord and a desiccant bag to ensure that the unit stays dry in transit. Now, with anything really big, particularly as heavy as this unit, the best thing that I can do from an advice perspective is get you to roll the product over and lift the box off the subwoofer rather than trying to lift the subwoofer out of the box. Now, there's the other half of the packaging, obviously cut away, and in it is the grill. Right, so half the polystyrene remained in the box, so that saves me one job, and then we've got a second box for the grill. Now, as with other videos, I'd like to highlight that Elac has put a little bit more care and attention into the packaging associated with their grills. Now, this is their speaker grills as well as their subwoofer grills. It means that there's a little bit of a flap so the cardboard folds over, and when taped closed there's no risk when you're running a craft knife over it for you to cut the grill. So it's kind of cool, and clearly just one of those unique features that comes with a company that can provide such wisdom in our industry. The grill is protected by a basic plastic bag. Getting rid of that's pretty easy. And we see the Elac logo and spinning it around, the cloth held taut by a grid section, ensuring that it's nice and tight, and you've got a lovely sort of acoustically transparent centre area. It's got big feet, little pucks and stuff of course as well, to ensure that at no point could this potentially get hit by the driver, even if it does have high excursion. Now, easiest of course at this point, again from an unboxing perspective, is just prep things by pulling the cloth bag and other things like that off to one side. Now, pausing, please, these are the big feet associated with anchoring this product to the floor. These are sort of grippy, so if it is on a tiled or hardwood floor, it's not going to vibrate or chatter, and its performance is going to be significantly improved. It's got a tap in there, and again, as always, hang around for the photographs. There's a tap in there for the spikes that I've mentioned. As I tip it round, it's important to note that there's no visible port. Unlike the PS range, which is ported, this is now sealed. Now, it means from a performance perspective that things can vastly improve. You're not going to have any port chuffing or any other issues with management, but you better have a damn good amplifier controlling the drive unit, otherwise it's going to fall apart. And literally, that's what they've done. They've designed something with absolutely prestigious control. Pausing, there's this little hole. Now this is a very subtle embedded LED to show the status of the subwoofer. It's designed to just sort of glow on the carpet or floor around the subwoofer, rather than having something bright and in your face. And that's a lovely design element on its own. Now, very carefully, because this thing is heavy, I'm going to roll it over and lift it before getting rid of the last piece of big polystyrene, a little bit of closed cell foam, then the plastic bag and polish bag. Now, as it was implied on the side of the box, this is a beautiful satin black painted finish, lifting the aesthetics of this subwoofer to match its performance. The RS reference series, of course, is significantly more expensive, but delivers significantly and worthwhile performance advantages, actually making them really good value. But the PS range, being their performance and budget range, have sort of a black, traditional sort of low cost finish. This one they've spent a little bit more time matching the quality of the finish to the performance of the unit itself. Tilting it back carefully, we see a very odd looking annulus, almost like it's got a squiggle. Now that is absolutely part of the performance of this drive unit. When something with such high excursion, this is a laminated material, it's huge as far as its strength. When you end up all the way out and all the way in from a stroke of drive unit perspective, you can end up with potential for the annulus to affect the overall surface area of the driver just for a split second. Now, at no point when you have this weave can that effect occur, and so you end up with none of the blurring of the bass at the extreme volume and extreme frequency response. So that's a lovely element. We see a steel disbursement ring and the very classy sort of two-tone metallic edge as well, emulating some of the elements of design that we see in some of the much higher end speakers like the Elac Velas and other things like that. We see a central Elac logo, nice and small, protected by a little bit of that scratch resistant stuff. There's the other half of the grille, and that's of course where it jams in the front, ensuring that it's completely rattle free. Tilting it forward, we'll see that the unit is approximately a cube. Now that gives design and performance elements. It also means that from a management of pressure and standing waves, the manufacturers have to work very hard, and they have done exactly that. You'll also see some curved edges. Curved cabinets do have an advantage, not only aesthetically, but also from an internal perspective, managing that direct standing wave. Again, it's basically a cube, and yes, it's heavy. Now, as a departure from the PS range, what we'll see is instead of the back panel being its only heatsink, this thing has a ginormous amplifier on board, and with that, external heat sinks to ensure that as it's delivering that power, it's got the ability to keep itself functionally cool. Of course this will run warm. That's a side effect, of course, but that's not bad. What they do is ensure that this passive heating, or cooling of course, is very, very easy, and it won't affect, of course, it'll get warm, but it's going to be awesome. Okay, what we see again from a departure of the performance range is a traditional binding post for a speaker input. Now weirdly, these are extremely good quality, so it's wonderful that they've not spared any expense, even in some of the lesser used connections. The speaker inputs are a sort of a drop tap. It's not taking the signal, it's monitoring the signal from the amplifier. So it's very straightforward to connect this to any stereo amplifier, or in a combination where this might be reinforcing front speakers, left and right speakers in home theatre, with the LFE feed going direct out of the amplifier into a specific third subwoofer. We see a very traditional input over here, and this is where a left and right RCA stereo input are utilised, but it's very, very clearly labelled if you're connecting this via a theatre amplifier, with the LFE input being red, or the right hand side one. Beside that we see a wireless reset button. Now it's associated with pairing to multiple devices if you wish, or if you discard or lose your phone, you can then pair it to a different device. We've got a little bit of feedback here associated with the pairing process with an LED, and then a traditional sort of rotary encoder for the volume. What we see here though is a 12 volt trigger in. Now this is an ideal link to a theatre amplifier or processor, forcing this to come out of standby when the theatre amplifier is on, and then go back into standby when the theatre amplifier is off. It avoids any of the popping to life associated with a subwoofer that may have gone into standby during a quiet patch, or it bursting to life and frightening the bejeebers out of you halfway through a dynamic passage. So this is probably my recommendation. If you've got the capability of linking this to the theatre amplifier via a 12 volt trigger out, utilise the 12 volt in to give it that stable on and off. There's a rear USB. Now this is more or less for software updating, but it can provide a little bit of power associated with perhaps a wireless receiver, although if you've invested in anything of this quality, a wireless receiver is not going to be part of your hi-fi journey. Then at the back, unusually, we've got a Ethernet connection. Now this is simply for external control from home automation and other devices, giving the ability for two-way feedback from the subwoofer and control from any number of different smart home control devices and apps. Again, the binding posts for the speakers, and then we've got a serial number scannable and a simple enough rocker switch. Then we've got a traditional IEC power socket, which is fused, and there's a spare fuse in the little cartridge beneath. So, as I slowly spin this around, I sort of reiterate some of the features. Firstly, a 700 watt amplifier peaking at 1400 watts. This will deliver effortlessly more than 110 dB of pressure in a room. It will get down to 12 Hertz. It's got a 12-inch hex driver, High Excursion, with 2 layers of material sandwiched together. It's astonishing. Performance-wise, utterly perfect, yet pretty damn affordable. So, there we have it. Elac's brand new RS700 Subwoofer, unboxed here at the Listening Post in Christchurch, New Zealand. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more, subscribe to our channel.